Three terms are used near interchangeably in the current wrestling lexicon: wrestler, sports entertainer and superstar. But I think as a community we need to properly distinguish them, and I genuinely think we can do this if we just commit to a formal definition. So here's what I suggest. Wrestler. This should refer to the people who make their career in the ring, the ones who can get over on pure work rate alone. So to provide an example, this would see people like Cesaro, Dean Malenko and Bob Backlund. The way that I've found to see if someone belongs in this group is to ask someone to review the wrestler. And if the first reply is along the lines of "they're amazing in the ring," then they probably belong here. Sports entertainer. This category is reserved for the people who have got over outside of the ring. Now normally this will be through mic skills, but also people who are just charismatic right up until they get in the ring. So examples here include Enzo and Cass, The Undertaker, who, let's be honest, wasn't very good in the ring until after the Attitude Era, and Ted DiBiase. I found a reasonably consistent way of seeing if someone is in here is to imagine them in character, and if it's not in a match, for example a promo or an entrance, then they belong here. Now this doesn't go to say that a wrestler can't be charismatic or a sports entertainer can't be good in the ring, it's just based on where their main skill set lies. Which brings us on to superstars. For me, this is the most spoiled term and will take the longest to make any change. In my opinion, superstars should be reserved for the greats. It isn't a distinction between work rate and charisma, so one person can be in here but will also be in one, usually both of the other groups. This name should be used for the people who are, well, superstars. The people who make it into the mainstream. The ones who can come back and get cheered whenever and whatever they do. Examples, not that they should be needed, are Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Stone Cold, The Rock, John Cena and Brock Lesnar. Now the way to tell if someone is in here is to ask someone who's not a wrestling fan, and if they know who they are, then they're either a superstar or you talk too much about wrestling. Now I think a concern with this system is that there are, and will always be, people who you just cannot define. I mean Kurt Angle, William Regal and Shinsuke Nakamura, among others, will never fit into a category. But the only real way to avoid all of these issues is to have one term which covers every style of performer, and this raises other issues. The main issue with that system is that it doesn't let companies have leeway with what they present. No one who has an issue with WWE referring to their performers as sports entertainers has realised that Vince pushes for something almost entirely different to all of his competition. He glamorises entertainment and pop culture above all else, and always will do. This aspect of his company is ingrained into its DNA. WrestleMania 1 was headlined by Mr. T, for crying out loud. No wrestling company has ever focused on celebrity involvement like the WWE, and they deserve their own term. Having a distinct term for the different formats presented can help if treated correctly. As a community, we should try to pry sports entertainment from WWE's branding and make it our own. Sports entertainment is a lot more informative and descriptive than the WWE style, and we can do this. Also, if you are a fan of the more work rate orientated wrestling presented by Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and dislike WWE's product, then this helps distinguish that style and give it its own identity. I'm not saying my definitions are the perfect alternative. I know there are plenty of improvements, but this is something that should be discussed, and soon, because the terms have become muddied and broken in the last 30 plus years, and now is the time to sort everything out. If you have any improvements, criticisms or questions, then tweet me at Ropeburn Podcast or email me at chester@ropeburnwrestling.co.uk. I'd like to thank Kevin MacLeod for his track Cool Hard Facts used in this podcast. It's licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 and you can find it at incompetech.com.